I'm Kim Kral. I am already sweating, and I'm reporting to you not live from my closet. Hi. My energy's all over the place today. This is very late because I can't seem to stop pooping. I feel like there's a running, should start taking like a tally on what episodes I start late because I'm just shitting a bunch. I'm very nervous and my energy's all over the map. This is your poop scoop. I have no more poop scoops, guys. I do have one left in my back pocket, but I wrote it in my book, so I don't want to give it away right now, but I would like you to buy my book. It should be available hopefully in 24 hours. It's been quite the week, man. It's been quite the fucking week. But yeah, I'm out of poop scoop stories, guys. And I'm like, do I just start shitting my pants places just so I have something to talk about? And I'm like, that's crazy. Is it? Is it crazy? I mean, yeah, I guess it is. So that means I know so many people that are like, a lot of people have written me on Facebook comments and stuff that you guys are like, oh my God, I have so many poop scoop stories for you. And I'm like, well, send them. I know it's a pain in the ass kind of to write it out, but it could be fun. And the people that sent them love hearing their poop scoop. And I won't tell your name if you don't want me to. Roger, who is a Crawl Space favorite, is promising a bunch more, which, sometimes you wonder if Roger and I are soulmates. The fact that the two of us just like have countless poop stories. If we ever had a child, that poor child would just be shitting its pants everywhere. It'd be gorgeous too. But yeah, and my friend Romy said she has a bunch too. So send me your poop scoop stories. It's kymspace@gmail.com. That's it's kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. Fuck. I'm so hot. I'm so freaked out. kymkralspace@gmail.com. I started singing the song at the beginning of this. So if you guys remember, Crawl Space was supposed to be on Dash Radio, Dash Comedy, but then, the pandemic took Dash Comedy, but I did record one episode and I had a producer and I had two producers and we did a lot of talking. One producer was like, I want you to sing your theme song. And I was like, bitch, I can't sing. And she's like, it's easy. There's an app. It helps you. It's like auto tune. And I was like, I don't think I can. And then she pushed me in like a good way and like a encouraging way, not like a way, but you know what I mean? Like pushed me to like do it and challenge myself. And that song makes me laugh really hard. It's super fucking weird and it's so great. And it's like kind of like if someone's like, oh, can I hear your podcast or whatever? And we're like together, I'll like play it. And that's the first thing that comes up and they go, did you sing your own theme song? You bet your bottom dollar I did. Is that the song? Is that the saying? Because I want to bring it into my 39-year-old life. You bet your bottom dollar I did. I hate, I wish I could sing. That is my thing in life that I wish that I was able to do. There's been many a times where people break out into song and then they look at me like it's my turn to sing too. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really horribly embarrassed about doing that. So I won't be doing that today. But I think that's why I hate on karaoke so much, because I wish I could just walk into an establishment, pick up a microphone and belt out, Grease 2 or Sheryl Crow Kid Rock's Picture. That's one of my dreams, is that I have a person. My buddy Ted years ago tried to help make this dream come true, but we were both really drunk and I am a bad singer. My dream is that I sing with someone and I get to be Kid Rock and the dude's Sheryl Crow, and the whole bar, in my fantasy, the whole bar is like mesmerized by our vocals. But that didn't happen. Ted and I were just really fucked up and drunk, but was it? Yeah, I think it was Ted. It sounds like something Ted would do with me. Yeah, so I every time I hear it, I laugh really hard. I am all over the map, you guys. My book is done and it's been submitted to Amazon, and now it's just like waiting on approval. And I'm really fucking freaked out. I woke up in the middle of the night, scared that I spelled a friend of mine in the acknowledgements name wrong. Because in the rough draft, I just you type fast and you just miss like a letter or whatever. In the rough draft, I missed a letter in his name. And then when I sent it to one of my editors, they were like, is this supposed to be this word or is that the way they spell their name? And I couldn't remember. I woke up in the middle of the night, panicked that I just misspelled his name in the acknowledgements. And I was like, fuck, that's way more important than anything. You know what I mean? Like people you want to thank, you want to spell their fucking names right. I spelled his name right. But like now my anxiety is all over the map. I'm scared. that it's going to look funny when I get it. I'm scared, like the formatting. So my buddy, Michael Malone, the guy who I will call it the pilot of Crawling Up. I didn't do Crawling Up this last Saturday because the second Saturday, it was my birthday. And I also was just really working on this book. And so I don't know. I like the Crawling Up. You guys let me know what you think of the Crawling Up. They do well, like they get the same amount of listens as the regular episode. So that's good. And there are people that I really want to interview. So I don't know. I think I was just really overwhelmed this last couple of weeks with just the book. Guys, I'm a fucking author. I'm a published writer. So wild. This was literally the biggest challenge I've ever accomplished in my life. I don't know if that's true. There's been a lot of really awesome accomplishments, but this is like probably the biggest one, like the biggest. I don't know. It's so easy to I get why people quit, There was many times where I was like, and that's why I kind of announced, that's not true. I wanted to announce it way earlier because just kind of like how I did it when I quit smoking. Like if you're trying to quit something, tell everybody. That's like one of the like Zig Ziglar's rules and like all the self-help people. If you want to quit something, tell everybody. And that's what I did when I quit smoking. I made I made 48,000 announcements. And it was really rewarding actually, because there was like a handful of people that still message me and tell me on their smoke-free anniversaries, thank you, because you quit, you stayed quit, and you talked about how hard it was. It kept me motivated. So you get two things from it. One, you have accountability for yourself. And then two, you might help other people. So it's two really cool things. And so I wanted to announce that I wrote a book a long time ago because I knew it would keep me accountable. And I'm glad I announced it before. So the plan last week was and I think I said some of this, I don't know, truthfully, I was completely blacked out when I was recording the last Crawl Space, and not in a drunk way, I had a lot on my plate, and I'm sure that's probably what's going to be happening today too. I am trying to stay present and in my body, and sometimes that is a difficult feat. Is that the word? I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's funny to me that I'm like, I wrote a book and I make up words a lot. And so if I talked about this last week, I'll be brief, but there's a point to it. The plan last week was Monday, announce book. Tuesday, get book back from final editor, right? Tuesday night, go through edits and then put it all together and then submit it to Amazon. And that day I talked to my buddy, Michael Malone, who wrote a book, who self-published last year, which you should check out the book. Dead serious. It's really good. And he is fucking brilliant. I love him. And I have a bubble in my throat. I have a bubble. And so I talked to him and he was like, oh, how the formatting. And he was really lovely. He was like, well, it took me 3 weeks to do the formatting because it's a fucking nightmare. And I was just like, oh, okay. But then he offered to do it for me, but was like, but I can't do it until this weekend, but I can have it to you by Monday. And which I wasn't even done with it until last night, which is Tuesday. So it wasn't even just the deadline of my birthday to have it, because I was like, you could just let him do it. But I thought about it and I was like, I want to do this all the way to the end, all of it. And it's not I don't think he wouldn't have done a good job, but this is my book and I want it to look the way I wanted it to look. You know what I mean? And not that he would have done an amazing job because he's, got a good eye for that shit, but and talented and all that. But I was like, I want to create this all the way to the end. I'm terrified it's going to not look great. I'm terrified there's going to be, a billion typos. I reread the whole thing yesterday. And I love that on last Tuesday, I thought I was going to go through edits and read my book. My book is 200 pages. It's 212 pages, but there's blank pages in there the way a book would be. So it's I think it's 140, 130 written back and forth, back and front pages, but they're the book is going to be a little thicker because you want to have. I'm so sweaty, dude. One of my friends / listeners from back home sent me a fan I should get for in here, and I'm wondering how silent it is, but I think I'm going to look into it today because, dude, I'm pouring sweat. I should stop telling people that though, because I was on a Zoom with someone and I was I'm literally pouring sweat, and then I looked at myself and I'm you don't look sweaty at all. You just look like you have perfect highlighter on. That's a makeup. So I don't know why I thought last Tuesday I would read the book. I would read not only read the whole book, but then also go through the edits, and I would get it done. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, it'll be like 2 hours. I have like no time management. Like it's like I have no spatial, you know what I mean? Like spatial like I'm like, oh, that thing will fit for sure. And then I'm like, oh, it's way too big or it's way too small. That's how I am with like things that I need to get done. I'm like, oh, I need to clean my kitchen. My kitchen's a disaster. It'll take me 20 minutes. And then 3 hours later, I'm like, bitch, you forgot that you're gonna have to wipe down the counters, wipe down the floor, you know what I mean? And I reread the whole book yesterday, and it took me all day. It took me like 9 hours to reread the book, and there was still fucking typos. Not big typos, but like, oh, this should have a period here, or like, oh, the indentation, like not like massive typos where there was misspellings. And I'm gonna let that go. And if you read my book and you see one, keep it fucking to yourself. Please, 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 please. Don't I understand that I already know there's going to be, and I already know I'm already hard on myself. So don't be like, hey, on page 24, you should have had a comma there, or like you didn't put a word here where you should have. Don't do that. Okay. One, almost every book, it's one of my favorite things actually. Almost every book I've ever read, there's some sort of typo somewhere, like a period missing, or like, oh, they missed a word, or they double typed a word. And I love that shit. I love reading that because it's like, oh, because a bunch of humans made this. So understand a bunch of humans, this is more for myself, a bunch of humans, but I know a few people that would text me just to let me know that there should be a period. Please don't do that. Keep it to yourself. Call me an idiot to yourself. I don't care, but I don't want to know. And I don't know if I can read the book again. I've read this book so many times. I probably should have it memorized. But yeah, so I love it. So Tuesday, I was like, all right, by Tuesday night, I'm going to have all the stuff in. So the editor gets me the book on Tuesday morning, which then it would be like, awesome, that I should have 9 hours to do this to hit my deadline. But then I had a panic attack, flipped out, and decided to deep clean my apartment. And I was just like, you know what, just breathe and do this. And then Wednesday, I started to look at it, and then the edits were taking a long time. Thursday, I did, it was just like a whole week of just like doing the best I could. And then like the weekend, my birthday it was incredible. It was exactly what I wanted. It was like 10 people, and it was just like good energy, no drama. Everyone had a nice time. A few people that weren't able to stay, but like mean a lot to me in my life, popped in for like a half hour just to be like, hi, just want to wish you a happy birthday. It was possibly my favorite birthday. And there was just I got to just sit in the pool while my friends handled if people came in. I had my door open upstairs where my friends would come in and out to like go to the bathroom. I wasn't worried about any of that. I knew everyone that came over was like just going to be super respectful and drama free, and not just like, I don't know. I talked about last year. Last year was just, there was this a pompous person that was just, I don't know. The whole energy was off, but this year was just fucking incredible. It was just a really good day. But Saturday, I was down for the count, man. I don't drink much anymore anyway. And then since I got COVID, my body's just, I'm finding a doctor this week. I promise you, my breathing has gotten really bad. Like almost where it was when I had COVID. I don't want to alarm anybody. It's probably, I'm not as freaked out about it now because I know I'll be fine. Like when I had COVID, I was like, this is really fucking scary, but I know I need to go to a doctor because that probably means there's everything I read that there's probably just some shit on my lungs that someone can help me get off. I just switched insurances, and finding a new doctor is a full blown nightmare. And, but so I already can't handle alcohol, and the next day, no matter what I drink, I'm down for the count. So I knew Saturday was going to be just like a day where I did nothing but watch. I went down this like weird rabbit hole of Netflix. I like movies with weird twist endings, and I like cheesy teen shit. So I watched I went in this weird rabbit hole of like weird, cheesy teen dark shit that I was like, I can never tell anybody this happened. Gun to head, I wouldn't be able to tell you what movies I watched. I'd have to go to my Netflix account and tell you, because they were so bad. One was like about a self-help writer, like a self-help author, who a woman read the book and decided that she wanted a divorce from her husband. So she told her husband, so she set up this dramatic scene where she laid out her wedding dress and then opened the page to I want a divorce, and then put it on the wedding dress, and then asked her husband for a divorce in front of her wedding dress like that, and the husband was like, I'll be right back, and then came back with a shotgun and killed both of like killed her and then killed himself. And then that was like the beginning of the movie, and then it like, I'm so fucking hot. um and then it like cuts to the author's life and how perfect her life is, and then it like her son gets this new girlfriend who turns out to, and it's like right away you're like, oh, that's the daughter of the couple that killed themselves because of her book. And so she was trying to like ruin this author's life. It was really bad, but it's like one of those, but I loved it. I loved it. So Saturday I went through a rabbit hole of movies like that. And then Sunday I started working again, and it just, and then and for the last Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I worked on it for like 10 hours. And dude, Malone wasn't wrong. It was the formatting's a goddamn nightmare. And he's right. He was like, you can just put it in and it works. Like if you want it to look like a fucking book report. I'm so sweaty. It's just this hair, dude. Like I do my hair for the YouTube videos, even though I don't post the YouTube videos and haven't in a while. I will soon, promise. Oh, this thing. Okay. I do it for the videos, but it's so long and heavy that I'm just pouring sweat. So but Malone's right. Like I could have just put it in and then just hit send, but the formatting would have been weird and looked like a fucking book report. So oh my God, I'm so freaked out, guys. So I spent like 3 10-hour days working on it, and last night and then the cover wasn't going through. Like we did all the dimensions, it said. Thank God for my illustrator, Missy Berhashush. That's how I say everyone's last name. I don't know. It's Bertricer. She's giving credit on the thing. So when you buy it, buy my book. You'll see it. So it should be, hopefully, I'm hoping it happens tonight. It says it's up to 72 hours, but everything I read, it's within 24. Oh my God. And so that just, I learned a lot this week. So far, I learned a lot in terms of like shit rarely goes as planned. You know what I mean? Like shit just rarely goes as planned. There's always something. And this is so like Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you'll get what you need. But it's like, it doesn't go as it planned, but it always works out like way better than you planned, Like my birthday, I didn't picture what it was. I just wanted a relaxing day, and I ate like a donut and a half, and then I was like, oh, I don't know why on earth. And I had like 2 glasses of champagne. I don't know why on earth I thought I was just gonna consume that all day without, I know where the hangover came to. My friend Romy was like, I know why you got hungover, while you were down for the count for like a day and a half. She's like, it was like 90 degrees outside. You probably didn't drink any water and you were just drinking by the pool all day. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I did. I had a gallon of water by me that my plan was to drink that whole thing. I think I had like 5 sips. No regrets. I'm back to normal. It's fine. But like, things rarely work out the way you want them to. And I don't mean that in like a negative way. I don't mean like nothing ever works out. I don't mean that. I just mean like usually they work out like way better than you could ever imagine. Oh shit. It's really late. I have an alarm every day at 1:30 that has Let It Be as a thing that tells me I'm awesome. You should do that too. My phone. The friend that I stopped being friends with, I think I talked about her. I don't know. I haven't talked about her in like a month or so. She was like, I was like, she said something. I said something about me being awesome, and she goes, well, you have to know you're awesome. I mean, doesn't your phone like tell you that like 25,000 times a day? And she didn't say it in a like, good for you for having like affirmations and self-esteem and working on yourself. It was just like, well, you tell yourself that like all day, every day. She's not my friend anymore. That is one of 7 billion reasons why. Toxic. I love that though. I love that. Like shit just like, I don't know, the healthier I get, the more these unhealthy people just sort of fuck off on their own. And it's so cool. And today's a really big day for me too. Today is my 3rd birthday in ACA. If you're not familiar with how 12-step works, you celebrate a birthday on your anniversary. And my regular birthday, they call it your belly button birthday. And then today is my ACA birthday. And this birthday means a little bit more to me than my regular birthday because it's just looking back. Oh, it's also Lucy's birthday. She's 4. Lucy's my cat, my other cat that I don't talk about much because she hides. Well, she doesn't really hide from me anymore, but she's just really scared of humans. I get it. But like this birthday is really important to me. and just looking back on how far I've come. And writing this book, the last chapter is about Jimmy the Dragon. I changed his name so I don't get sued. I actually am unclear. Could I get sued here? I've never said his real name, I don't think, but it's like I talk about him on stage. I don't accuse him of assault or anything like that, or committing crimes, but I just grabbed my boob. There you go, YouTube, when this comes up. I don't even know why I did that, but I'm just moving. It doesn't matter. But like, or after reading that chapter, that was like 6 months ago, 3 years ago, right? So like 3 years ago in February, I was with a really, really abusive man. Not physically, he never physically abused me, but he, writing out the chapter about him, I was like, it was emotional abuse. And I mean, how he would talk to me, the things he would say to me. I would wake up in the middle, I'd wake up every morning at 6 a.m. shaking with this awful anxiety of like, I need to get out of here, but I physically couldn't move. Like I physically didn't, like I couldn't do it. And I know a lot of people are like that's why I've never played into the whole, well, if it was that bad, you would just leave. It's not that easy. There's, especially if you're in an abusive relationship. I know people that have been in abusive relationships, and even, I just mean emotionally right now. I can't imagine it going more, the physically abusive, fuck. But it's like your partner beats you down so much, and you choose that kind of person because of how you feel about yourself inside. So it's not like you're starting with like a strong structure anyway. So it's easy for someone to like beat you down and I hope I understand that this is my opinion. This is only my experiences. If you're in an abusive relationship and you're like, but I wasn't weak before. I'm not calling you weak. I'm just saying my experience, who I am. I had a really traumatic childhood, and I only picked men that were not very great. And, not all of them were abusive, obviously, but, they didn't treat me very well. And so like my foundation going into the Jimmy the Dragon was I didn't feel great about myself to begin with. So it was easy for someone to like, take the reins of that and beat me down even further. So and it was easy for me to believe there was no other option and I had to stay, So waking up every morning at like 6 a.m. and total panic attack with this crazy person laying next to me, this mean, crazy guy, and just like not being able to walk out the door. God, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, I'm so grateful for that relationship because it was a rock bottom, and it made me come into the rooms of ACA and get real help. I was in 12 steps before, and Al-Anon is wonderful. And I recommend Al-Anon for anybody who has an alcoholic in their life. But dude, ACA went down and just like is healing things that I thought I would have to carry alone for the rest of my life. I got really serious. I read the whole book again yesterday, and it is a little redundant, but that may be just my critical parent in my head. That's like, you already said that, you already said that, you already said that. But it's just like, yeah, I want to hammer home the point that I just like spent years dating terrible people, but like the last one was Jimmy, and before I got help. And I've dated a couple of people since him, but nothing serious. And I think, I think that relationship was so bad that I'm a little bit more like terrified to get into. I don't know. With the new insurance, I'm probably gonna start going to therapy. But yeah, like I would wake, I now, looking at that scene of like a woman laying in bed with a guy, I wasn't tied to him. We weren't married. We didn't have a child. There wasn't any like heavy duty shit that kept me there. And even if you have that heavy duty shit, you still can walk out and leave, but I get it. Like that wasn't even an option. Like, it was in my brain. My brain was like, if you just get up and go, just get up and leave, just get up and leave. But like, my body, like I was like, I'm really trying to move right now, but my body was just like, no. And it just frozen in fear and having to stay there. And I'm grateful he left the way he did, because I think that eventually, well, honestly, I think I either would have gotten help or would have died. The way he and I lived, I would have died. I can't tell you how or why I know that, but there's no way I would have come out of that alive. And then I found ACA, and it just like that, like sharing my story with my sponsor, and in these rooms that is anonymous. And like I've shared a lot of my story here on Crawl Space. I'm really open about my story, but there's a lot of dark shit I haven't shared on here, and even my best friends don't know about. And I hope one day that I will be able to talk about that, because I think I'm not alone in a lot of the stuff that's happened to me and a lot of the experiences I've had with, growing up with a man who was, abusive. Physically and emotionally. Well, sexually and emotionally. He never really hit me. He threatened a lot, but he never hit me. I think that's how he justified all of it. Well, at least I'm not beating her up or raping her, Sorry, that's not a funny joke at all. But I truly think that was like his brain was like, well, I'm not like doing whatever. But, and he's gone now. That guy's gone. So I don't know. I shared stuff in these rooms. I just can't. I recommend this enough if you're struggling with anything that I've ever talked about. I can't recommend going there enough. It's fucking scary. It's horrifying. And I cried a lot. I cried about shit that like I didn't even know bothered me still, or I didn't even know bothered me at all. I cried a lot. And but I've told people things, and I've let go of things that I thought I was going to have to carry alone for the rest of my life. There's Russell Brand has a really good book. I don't know much about him in general, but his AA book is so good. He breaks down the 12 steps of AA which are the same 12 steps in ACA, and which all the 12-step programs sort of have adopted because it works. And he broke it down like in like not layman's terms, but like, step 1, you're fucked. Step 2, admit you're fucked. Step 3, no, you can't get unfucked alone. I think that's how like something like that. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. Even if you're not an alcoholic, dude, those steps. But he talked about, he has this line in there about this drug addict, this like homeless drug addict who is just like, and he was working at this like homeless shelter or volunteering or something like that. He was like famous at this point, so he's probably volunteering. And this old drug addict, he was like, I look at that guy and he has decided it is easier for him to carry this shit all the way to his grave on his back than turn around, like drop it, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but turn around and face it. And I feel that way about my mother. I think I feel that way. Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of people I know who still use or still have demons to fight. I truly don't know if my mom's sober or not. Honestly, I haven't asked. I don't really talk to her. But I think sometimes it's just easier to carry that. You think it's easier to just carry it for the rest of your life, but in some ways it is. In some ways it is easier if you carry it. But by that, I because turning around and facing it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But like literally the most rewarding. And that's the only way you can change and shift. Oh, fuck, man. I today I'm like, I might get emotional. Like I'm sitting here today and I have a book. Like I'm a published writer. Hopefully in 12 hours. Actually, I'm a published writer. I am going to share something. No, I'm not. I'll make a note to share what I was going to share next week. That way because I think I'm going to keep it to yourself. All right, I'm going to share it. Nope, I'm not going to share it. I just had to, I shared a little bit and then I stopped and then I deleted it. Sorry, guys. You'll know in 24 hours. My secret. Keep it to yourself. That's a, I can't sing. Man, I wish I could sing. Oh, I have some other good news. My brain is so all over the map, guys. I'm so sorry. My apartment is a disaster. My buddy Alex does not believe I have all these floaties from the pool. And normally last year I left them all down at the pool and was like, oh, we can just share them. And I did that the year before. Like I did that like last summer a couple of times with other floaties. And then people do use them, which is nice. But then they throw them, the pool guy or someone throws them in like the bushes and then they just get really, really disgusting. So I have all these cool floaties that I decided to keep up here and, I share with anybody. I don't give a fuck, but I don't want them to get dirty and they're cute and they're fun. But my buddy Alex was like, there's no way your cats are going to allow you to like not deflate them right away. They'll play with them. And I'm like, they won't give a fuck about them. I promise. The most Henry will do is just lay by them. The only time my cat Henry, who you all know about, who is my king, he only likes to destroy shit that will upset me. I dated this guy a long time ago, and he used to say, he goes, your cat is like Jackass. Like, first of all, he comes out of the bedroom and he has like a look in his face that's like, what am I gonna fuck up that's gonna upset her now? And he's right. He does have a different face when he's ready to piss me off. And then he's so big that this guy I was dating was like, yeah, he'll like climb up shit that he's way bigger than, and then it topples over on top of him. And he's like Jackass, where he's like, I'm Kim's cat and this is Jackass. And then he like climbs up like something that will just immediately topple over him. That was one of the funniest things anyone has ever said about Henry ever. But like, as long as I don't act like I care, like the Christmas tree, everyone's like, how do you have a Christmas tree with 2 cats? Lucy doesn't really touch anything. Lucy's afraid of everything. Like, if she touches something and it moves, she'll hide under the bed for 3 days. So like, she doesn't fuck with anything, right? And then, which is breaks my heart. I wish she was more comfortable. We've almost been together 4 years, and she's comfortable with me. She lays right next to me, but if I move too suddenly, she darts under the bed. She just had a really rough childhood. I get it. I'm hyper vigilant and jumpy. I was super jumpy at 18. So I feel like she, like in cat years, she's me at 18. And my friends, like I already told you, my friends in college called me tweakers. And not because I did a lot of drugs. I didn't do any drugs, but because I was so jumpy. And it's because I had a really bad childhood. So I was always hyper vigilant and like aware of everything. Like, it was just always, and I'm much more calm now, but I get Lucy's thing, but Henry doesn't fuck with the Christmas tree. He did the first year, and it was because I was like obsessed with him not touching the Christmas tree. So every time we went by it, I was like, no. So anytime he wanted to like upset me, he would just go straight to that tree and then topple it over. And now I just pretend I don't care. And now all he does is lay next to the tree. And that's what he did with the floaties. He just lays next to, I got to deflate them. I'll deflate them after this. I'm so stressed out, in a good way, right? This is the time that I think my career is about to shift. And that is really scary to say. So I'm watching One Tree Hill, right? Don't judge me. You guys know I like terrible. It's not terrible, actually. It is very much though, like if you've ever seen One Tree Hill, they're all like basketball stars in high school. And I mean, there's like more levels to it. Like, one guy fathered 2 kids and then like ignored one kid, and then the other kid became really popular and the ignored kid didn't. And then the ignored kid plays basketball. But once they all become popular, the show is like how I played Barbies. It's like, we may all be in high school, but that one has an NBA record. And that one, oh my God, today my cousin got her tattoo. I can't wait. I should have wished her a happy tattoo day. Anyway. And then it's like, that one has a record deal. And that one, she has a clothing line. But it was like, how, like, all these high school kids have like multi-million-dollar, like, dreams that are like coming true at like 16. And so it's like much like I played Barbies or House when I was a kid, because it's like, well, I mean, maybe like one kid out of your group would like become a pop star, but then you're like in a small town in, I think North Carolina. I think whatever, doesn't matter. But so the kid that was like the abandoned son, he started playing on a basketball team, and when he was nobody liked him, everybody made fun of him, and then he made the winning shot. And the popular girl looked at him and she goes, "Do you feel it?" And he's like, "What?" And she goes, "Do you feel that your whole life's about to change? Because this is the moment where it's about to shift." And it did for him. And I was watching that the other day, and I was like, I feel like that's happening right now. And maybe that's presumptuous. And maybe I'm really scared that it isn't going, like that this is not going to be anything. Like, it'll come out and it'll be like, oh, cool, some people bought it, and now I guess I have to move on to the next thing. But I don't want to do that. Like, I wrote and directed and did my own one-woman show, like, God, 4 years ago, like, or 5 years? No, it was was it during, yeah, I think 4 or 5 years ago, probably 4 years ago. It was right before I broke my arm. Okay. 4 years ago. And I worked really hard on it. And I worked, that's all I worked on, right? Like, anytime I wasn't working, I was doing that. And the night of the show, it was really awesome. I had packed out the room. Everyone was supportive. I have a great tape from it. Like, it was a great show. But then the next day it was like, okay, now what? Like, now what? And I went into like a little bit of a funk because I spent all this time working on this one thing. And I don't know if I'm making any sense at all. This episode, dude, I don't know. I'll be happy to look back on it, like when I'm the inevitable star that we all believe I will be. I hope. And be like, oh, that was the week that, everything sort of shifted, but I also was really freaked out and like, I can't stop pooping. I am barely sleeping. I did sleep last night, thank God. And I darkened my room. I like shut all the, I like made sure I would sleep 8 hours, and I'm not eating much and I'm like really cracked out, but I just, cause like, there's so much cool shit happening, but like, I'm so freaked out. But like, so bear with me. I think that my experience with the one woman show and my experience with the book is like American Idol. Hear me out. Not in the way that like it's going to be like American Idol. I'm not the next Ryan Seacrest. I don't want to be, but like I always was like, I was like, well, I don't understand how some people win American Idol, they go on to be like huge stars like Carrie Underwood or fucking Kelly Clarkson. Even Clay Aiken, I know that he's not, but he like went in Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson. There's a lot of them that like went on, and a lot of them that didn't. And it's because the ones that went on were like, oh, this isn't my career. This is a stepping stone to what I want. And I'm going to use this to get to the next level. I know this isn't going to be the thing that's going to pop me. I got to do more, right? And then the other ones that didn't really ever do anything, I think it was like, well, I want American Idol, so come to me. You know what I mean? And I think like, I don't know if this makes any sense, but this makes tons of sense to me. So I think like the one woman show, I didn't do anything with it afterwards. Like people who came were like, dude, that was something that I feel like I would have watched at Edinburgh. And if you don't know what that is, I think Edinburgh. It is a festival in Scotland. It's somewhere. I know. I should look it up and I should know. But it's like one of the biggest comedy festivals in the world, right? People fly over from all over the world and then they put on their own shows. And it's like the town loves it. It's amazing. Like you do have to raise a little bit of money to do it, to get there, because you got to pay for it. But you're there for like a month and you do your show over and over again. People were like, that show to me looked like one that I would see there. Or you should submit it to the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And I just like didn't do any of that because it was like, well, I did it. Isn't that enough? And I think that's what, I can't even remember all the people that won American Idol. I was a really big American Idol fan for the first like 10 years. I don't know. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I really loved Paula Abdul as a kid. And there's a couple of, like, I just like the journey. Doesn't matter. But I feel like that was the ones that never did anything afterwards because they didn't use that hype or that drive or that like a little bit of exposure or that excitement buzz around them to be like, I'm going to keep going instead. And I was a very different person than I was, not in ACA, not looking at any of my shit. I was about to break my arm, have a bunch of uncovered memories about my dad on sexually abusing me. And that'll happen in one day, the breaking arm and the memories coming back. That was a really hard day for the Kralski. But it wasn't though. It's such a weird thing to be like, it wasn't. Like, I'm grateful for all that, like breaking my arm and having those memories. It was really fucking hard and it hurt. And I cried a lot, not just the arm breaking, obviously, but just like all of it. And so like, that was like right before a shift happened. So I know that I was a different person, nowhere near who I am now, nowhere near ready for any kind of success, nowhere near like, I got a little bit of money right after that because my dad died and I blew it all on, just like, I don't know what the hell I was doing. Right. It's in the book, by the way. It's in the book. And then now, though, I feel like this book could do something. It could be open doors. It could get more exposure. It could get me more Instagram followers or whatever the fuck, whatever you want to keep it going. But like, I feel like it's mine to make it happen more or mine to lose. Does that make sense? No one's in here. I don't know why I always go, do you get what I mean? I mean, I also have been told by people that listen, friends and strangers alike have said, yeah, I answer you in your podcast, which is so fucking cool. I want it to sound, that's why I just sort of like free talk and not be like, today on the podcast, I'd like to talk about, and like, that's cool. That's your format. But my format is really just like, what's up, man? So I feel like something's about to shift. And my old nightclub that shut down way before the world ended, like 2 months before the world ended, asked me to come work this weekend and asked me to come back. And one, I physically can't do that. Hopefully soon I'll be able to have the stamina, not to ever bartend again, but just to, stand for 10 hours or 8 hours without, being down for the count for a couple of days. We'll see. I'm going to the doctor. I'm telling you guys now, this is like quitting smoking. I will have a doctor by the time I record next week. That's a bold promise, but it's a good promise to make because I need to go to the doctor. Something is not right. The breathing is real bad, guys. It's real bad. And I'm just power throughing it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is how people end up with like stage 4 something because they're like, it'll be fine, rub dirt in it. And then they finally go to the doctor and the doctor's like, well, you should have come in like 8 months ago because this could have been fixed. And now it's not. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like anything that bad, but I do think I need to go. So here's my accountability. I will go to the doctor. I will find a doctor by the time I record next week. What was I? I was winning on this big. I went on this big tangent. Now I don't remember what I was. Oh yeah. So they asked me to come back and then I was just like, but I think I'm just going to go after this thing. You know, I have a little bit of money saved. I have some money coming in, and more coming in. Not, you know, I mean, not like I'm not rolling in it or anything, but I think it's time to just get rid of that safety net, man, and just leap, just fucking leap. I think that decision has been made definitely this week, 100% this morning. And that's probably why I can't stop pooping. It was really fun. Oh, I just breathed. It was nice. Do you feel that? Oh, it feels so good. When you can take a deep breath all the time, just thank your higher power, your maker, or whatever you believe in, or yourself, your higher self. Whatever your God is, thank it because, dude, or just your body, man. I'd give anything to just be able to breathe normally. Literally anything. I think I'd kill one person. If you can make that happen and you want me to, no, I won't. I should stop saying that. Stop threatening murder. After my party, we met my neighbors and I met our new neighbor and we brought him up to my apartment. And I was really drunk at this point. Fun drunk, not bad drunk, but fun drunk, birthday drunk. And I kept telling him that we didn't really want to hang out with him. We just wanted to sacrifice him. That's what happened to like the old neighbor is we killed him. And like I thought it was really funny. And then my neighbor the next day was like, well, I think he rolled with it, but you really went after that. So I really got to stop making murder jokes. No, I will never change. But I think I feel a shift happening. I have some exciting news that I believe I can announce now. I don't even know if it's out yet, but I am the new voice of proflowers.com. My buddy works for them, freelance, and he's a voiceover guy, and he's just wonderful. And they wanted a woman, so he thought of me, and then we did the commercial, and they love it, and they want more, and they're going to pay me, and they're going to keep me going. And this is this is going to be played on new media platforms. Like the only one I can think of right now is Joe Rogan. It's going to be played during that because it's for men, the Pro Flowers, because it's like going out, like trying to get man, whatever. But I just like, once I've made the decision of like, I'm just going to go after this, like things have been just coming my way. And so I'm going to use this book like I would if I was an American Idol, like Kelly Clarkson did. That sounds really crazy. I know. I don't even know if it sounds crazy. Oh man, guys, I am so excited and freaked out. But I don't know. The one thing this last week has taught me, and then like right before I started, I was I had to restart the episode because I had to go poop. And then I also was rambling about nothing. And I was just like, just start over. Because it was like 2 minutes in and I was like sweating and rambling, couldn't breathe. And I thought I was going to shit my pants. That's part of your poop scoop. Guys, I need more poop scoops. Please send me your poop scoops. I can't just shit my pants for you. I mean, I probably can't just shit my pants for you. I have a lot of people in my life that keep telling me that they've never pooped their pants. And I just don't. They're like, I haven't. I don't know. I just haven't. And I'm like, I don't believe you. But I was like thinking about how things don't, like this last week is just like things always don't go as planned. And like things don't work, like things don't happen the way you see them happening. Right. But the thing is if you just breathe, let go, accept it, it works out so much better than you could ever hope for. Right. Like, I don't know what the reasoning behind this book being so hard and me getting it out in the last week, but maybe it was just that lesson. Maybe it was like, it was really, really, and maybe it was showing myself like how I don't quit and I accomplished something really big. And even if like 8 people buy it, which I don't think is going to happen, but I accomplished something really big. And instead of flying into a depression, which I know I had no control over last time, and I'm so grateful for days like today, 3 years in a program that has helped me not fly into a depression. Also know that I like once, if I feel that, I can just call somebody and be like, hey, I'm fucked up. Please call me or please talk to me. Oh my God. I'm enjoying this moment, enjoying it all. And like, I got a lot of work ahead of me. I got a lot of promoting to do. I got a lot of, if you have your own podcast and you listen, I would love to be on your podcast. If you know any podcasts I should try to be on, DM me or email me. I am going through all my birthday messages today, guys. This is not a real problem, and it's not a problem. I am one lucky broad. Maybe this is the I am one lucky broad. I'm one lucky broad. Because I have about 600 messages I need to go through to thank people for wishing me a happy birthday. And I've been avoiding it. Well, I've been nonstop on my computer about other stuff. So I'm like, that's another wild thing that has happened. Going back to the ACA in the 3 years. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to not respond to all those right away. Like no matter what I had going on, but because I'm a people pleaser and I'm working on that. And I've like where it was like, I have to thank them for my birthday. Otherwise, they're going to be mad and they're going to be like, this bitch, why I shouldn't even have wished her a happy birthday. Like I'll lose friends or people will hate me. No one will like whatever your like inner monologue was or whatever mine was just like, so I would drop all of my responsibilities, which my responsibility is this book right now, right? I would drop all of them just to make sure. And I would spend hours just hoping everyone was happy and understood that I was thanking them for my birthday. And now I'm like, well, I'm going to. And I also have a perspective shift where like, if someone is waiting by their Facebook expecting me right away, it's like, wow, Kim never thanked me. That's more about them than it is about me. You know what I mean? Like I will thank them. So I will be going through all my DMs today. So if you know any podcasts you want me to go through, you want me to try and reach out to and see if I can be on, let me know. Cause I'm going to try and get in as many podcasts and shows as I possibly can to just fucking get this thing out there. God, I'm so grateful, you guys. And I don't even, this is where I'm having the existential crisis again, where I'm like, was this funny? Did you guys like it? Should I quit? I'm not going to. I'm going to keep going. And what if dreams won't just come true? Like, what if all the stuff I've ever wanted just comes true? Oh, it's wild. That's wild. I thought of something earlier. Here's I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I feel so cracked out. I feel so fucking cracked out. And I feel another poop coming on. And it's just, my body is like, we're so freaked out. And my head's like, we are really freaked out. And my spirit, my soul is like, it'll be fine. So like the two things that are like, and then like the other part of me is just like, it'll be cool. Just breathe, baby. Be cool, soda pop. But I was talking about Gail last week. I know that. I was talking about Gail. I think Gail is a woman that I used to work with that I need to get in touch with. She is a woman that, oh man, she was like a producer on HBO, or before HBO was like HBO Max and everybody had HBO. And HBO in like the 90s, she was a producer on there. And actually she told me once that young Quentin Tarantino worked under her, was like a gopher for her, right? Which is like a PA, personal assistant. Just like, basically like everyone's bitch, right? And he was a writer. He was a wannabe writer. And she read, what is that fucking movie called? The one with Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis. Natural Born Killers. She read that, which, sidebar, I watched it years later. I never watched it when it came out because a lot of people in Littleton, Colorado, mostly now, as an adult, I understand that these are the same people who were blaming like Eminem for Columbine. Instead of like gun laws, society itself, the parents, all sorts of things. Although there's a documentary out about one of their parents that I want to watch, but I think it's going to be really rough to watch. This Natural Born Killers, they blamed Columbine on that because they were shooting up the jail or something in trench coats, and they were like, that's those kids watch that and that's the most ridiculous thing ever to me. But so I avoided watching it because I thought it would be really triggering for me, and then I watched it years later. It's a really good movie. But Gail watched the movie, or read the movie when young Quentin Tarantino had written it, and she read it and she went, Quentin, the only person who's ever going to be able to fucking direct this and make sense of it, take it from script to screen, is Oliver Stone. Good luck with that, dude. It's never going to happen. I guess who directed that fucking movie? Wild, right? And she told me that story, and I was like, that's fucking crazy. And this woman meant a lot to me. She was like a mother figure to me before I realized that I was like collecting mother figures out here. And I told her a lot about my life. I had just sort of like dipped my toe into what happened to me with my father. My mom was such a blazing, obvious thing that was going on because like jails and rehabs and DUIs and all that stuff and like drugs and crazy boyfriends, knife fights. I mean, just like it was like so obvious what was going on. So it was easy for like my other side of the family to be like, your mom is this, your mom is that. So thankfully I was able to look at it. It wasn't as like, covert as my father's shit was. But like I just dipped my toe a little bit in the possibility that my father was not a good dad, right? Or a good dude. He was a sick man. He was just a sick guy. But I had told her a lot about that. And I wrote her down because she did tell me once when I was 21, this is like ties back into the birthday shit that I talked about last week. I do remember talking about that because like how we waste our youth calling ourselves old. How I hear like 28-year-olds be like, I'm old. It's like you waste your whole youth being like, I'm old. And then one day you're actually old. And you wish you were 40. You wish you were 48. You know what you wish you were 50 again, hell. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like we waste all this time thinking about wishing that we were like 22 again, right? And so Gail said something to me when I was 22, 21. I was 20 fucking 1 years old. And I had hair like mine now, which is so funny to me. I had hair like mine now, except for it was all one length, right? I just moved from Colorado. Layers, I get like the layers you'd get in Colorado weren't great, because I was going to like super cuts or something like that. I don't know, no judgment to super cuts, kind of judgment. But and only because I've gotten many scary haircuts and dye jobs from super cuts, and I just don't recommend it. But like, so I came in and she was just like, you're a little too old to be having that haircut. And I was like, and I remember being like, oh, I should have got it all off. I was 21. I was 21. I should have shaved my head. Should have done whatever the fuck I wanted. I was 21. But now I'm like, I'm 39. I should do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? Like shave my head. I don't want to shave my head. I like my hair a lot. But then I started thinking about Gail, and you know what? So she knew one of the things she told me, she was one of the people that was like first validated my childhood and like the bad childhood, and also validated that my dad was not a good dude, right? Like validated that I was smart. She's a wonderful lady. I miss her a ton. I need to reach out. I've asked for her, like somebody to give me her or give her my number for years, and it just never happens. And the more I talk about her, the more she's like, I realize how much she did for me when I was in my early 20s, besides the hair thing, but I think that was just projection, whatever. I don't know, people, I lose a lot of people, and I think about her a lot, and I don't want it to be too late one day. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It got really dark. But one time I drove her to the grocery store after work, and we were talking. I don't even remember what we were talking about. It was specifically talking about like my childhood shit. And I was crying. I was sad. And, I hadn't really like worked through it at all. It's just like, it's just chaos in my brain. It was just chaos. And that's why I drank so much at 21 to like 32 to even like a couple of years ago. It's just because it was just so loud in my head that it was just like, just disassociate for a while. So I don't have to think about this bullshit. And God, I'm so grateful that I am where I am today, because I don't feel that way or do that anymore. But so we're talking about that. I'm crying. I'm a mess. And she's, validating my whole experience. And I drop her off at the grocery store. And then she gets out of the car. We hug. She gets out of the car and she leans into the window and she goes, you know what, kid? You had a really, really rough first part of your life. I got a little bit of a feeling that things are going to turn around. And the second part of your life is going to be fucking awesome. And she's like, I love you, and walked away. And I think about that all the time. And I think she was right. I mean, I think that the bar was super low on what, how it getting better, but I think it's going to be even better than I can possibly imagine. I never thought in the million years I would share my American Idol theory with you guys or analogy with my career with it. But I'm really excited. And I was hoping by today I would be like, my book's out. I'm a published writer. Please buy my book. And then I would be telling you that and be so exciting. But like shit doesn't always go as planned. It just doesn't. And like, that's okay. I used to have like white knuckle rigid control about everything. It just like, and it was just so I could feel safe. That's it. I just always wanted to feel safe and like I belonged, but like I wasn't safe ever as a kid. The times I was safe was with my grandparents, Dorothy and Creighton. who I don't know if I'm sure I've talked about him, but like everything good inside of me. Like people hear about my story and they're like, how are you so kind? And I am kind. I have a, I think it's okay to say those things. It's so funny. Like we have a society that's like, the society is like, work on your self-worth, love yourself. And then as soon as someone does, it's like, wow, she's really full of herself. And it's like, which is it, society? Which one do you want? Do you want me to hate myself or do you want me to love myself? Which is it, guys? Are you on a happy medium so everyone feels comfortable? But I am a good person. I know that. And not just because literal Nazis aren't on the side of what I believe in, but that's, if you have literal Nazis agreeing with you, crack a book. But I know I'm a good person. I'm a kind person, and I have a good heart. And a lot of people that grew up the way I grew up don't. And it's not. I was listening to Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, if you guys know that. That's kind of where I feel spiritually. Look it up. It's amazing. And they were asking about like serial killers, like how is that a thing? How are they able to tap in? And Abraham was like, well, it's when someone is, most of them, I think all the time had a really, really, really bad childhood. And it's scary because when I used to do the stereo show, I talked about serial killers a lot, and it was just like, my childhood was life and death. Like it's scary when I look up these guys. I had the same I had a worse childhood than John Wayne Gacy. Like I had a worse child, and I'm not saying like that, like I should have ended up as a serial killer or whatever, but that's like where the seed is planted. And I did a lot of research on it. That this makes me sound a little crazy, but like I'm so great. Like my grandparents, everything good inside of me came from them. Every single, like those two people. Oh, there's a point of this. I really went off the rails. By the way, in the book, I go off the rails quite a few times. The book is sort of like this podcast where then sometimes I go into a big, but then I say, sorry, I went on a tangent. We'll get back to the story. But I, what am I saying? What was I saying? Dorothy and Creighton, good childhood. I don't know. It's gone. Oh my God, it's going to really bother me though, because I had a point. Do I pause this and think about it for a minute? No. Yeah, but like everything, the serial killers, everything good inside me. Whoever you guys listening now are like, you were going to say this. And I'm like, I have no idea. It's fucking gone. But that's okay. Feeling safe. And like, that's all I ever wanted as a kid is and as an adult, and I just wanted to feel safe. And I don't have that energy anymore where I'm not feeling safe. And I never had that as a kid, except for when I was with Dorothy and Creighton. When I was in Dorothy and Creighton, I felt like I was okay. And now I'm like in this space in my life that I feel safe. I feel loved and supported. And I think I've had that for a really long time. But I think being an ACA has helped me not only be able to accept it. Guys, I'm so uncomfortable with love. So uncomfortable with it. Yesterday, my buddy who got me the ProFlowers job called me to let me know he negotiated a rate that they wanted more, and I'm going to go hang out with him and his wives. He has two. It's a whole new thing. It's really awesome, but it's not my place to like share on here. Just, love is love, man. It's happy pride. Love everybody. And, if it doesn't affect you, what do you fucking care? Right. I was on a podcast. I was on Bill Dawes' podcast. I don't know when it comes out. And we were talking about the masks, and he was really mad about people wearing masks like outdoors by themselves. He's like, come on, like the guy riding his bike, why is he wearing the mask or whatever? And I was like, what do you fucking care? Like, if you're worried about him and he's worried about him, who the fuck's worrying about you? And he was like, you know what? You're right. I didn't even think about that. And that's how so my buddy called, and I'm going to have a game night with him and his wives. And that's a story that will come out more and more. And I hope I'm invited to the wedding because it's fucking rad. And I finally got to meet their fiance. And I'm going to have a game night with them in Saturday, right? So my buddy called to tell me that, and then we confirmed Saturday, and he's like, "Oh my God, the girls are so excited." I'm like, "Me too." And he was like, "I'll be whatever." And I got off the phone, and I still am uncomfortable with nice people loving me. Like I still have that, like. And it gets better and I walk through it. I don't know if you can't relate to that, you probably had a really good childhood. Congratulations. But I get really uncomfortable in love and healthy love. And I'm working through it. Right. I feel I just like my brain when you grow up the way I did, you're around chaos all the time, and that's just how you think the world is. And I'm comfortable in chaos. I'm comfortable if you're shitty to me. It's, but I don't want to live that way anymore. And I am, I'm celebrating 3 years in a program today that has helped me not live that way anymore. Like before, I would have like worked the bar this weekend and just canceled on them. But I'm like, one, I'm not a bartender anymore, and two, I get to go have fun with people that genuinely love my company. And I remember a couple of years ago, Christmas, and then I'll wrap this up. A couple of years ago, Christmas, I was at my best friend's house, Katie, Dave, and Roger. We before they all abandoned me to move to the East Coast. I didn't go away. I just wanted to pause so they listen to me. They understand that that's how I feel. It's not actually how I feel. I love you guys, and I'm going to come visit you very, very, very soon. But we used to do this Christmas thing, right? And we always had game night, whatever. We always, had dinner, game nights. Christmas, we would do dinner and game night and exchange presents. And first year it happened, I walk in and, Dave's cooking and Katie's taking care of Wixom, and Roger and I are standing there, and I looked at Roger and I was like, and yeah, just poop scoop Roger. I looked at Roger and I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. I want to crawl out of my fucking skin. And I guess he knew why, because or maybe we had talked about it many, many times before. I'm just comfortable with like genuine unconditional love, people just caring about you. I didn't have it, like I didn't grow up in that situation where it was, except for grandma and papa. And yeah, I had, aunts and uncles and cousins, and they all loved me, but like the two core people that were supposed to take care of me didn't, and taught me very early on that like I wasn't worth basic shit like body autonomy or safety. Like I play with my nephew. I call him my nephew. He's Katie's kid, and I play with him, and he's so safe. Like you can just see that like it's just him and I. And he knows there's no like, and it's not even a conscious, like I'm safe, but he is just safe. He just knows that I am going to make sure he's okay. And he's able to just carefree, have fun and play. And that's how it's supposed to be. And I didn't have that as a kid. It was just like, and I thankfully have a lot of friends that I've met in ACA that like understand that because they didn't have it either. And so Roger and I are standing there. I'm like, I want to crawl out of my skin. I'm so uncomfortable. And honestly, it was just because they love me. They love me, and they don't expect anything from me, and they love me for who I am, and they want me around. There's no conditions. It's not like, oh, we better call Kim even though she's annoying and we don't like her. Like that's how I think everybody. And I'm better now. It's been 3 years and working on this, but I looked at Roger and I was like, I'm gonna crawl out of my fucking skin. I'm so uncomfortable. And Roger grabbed my hand and squeezed it and winked at me and went, we're family, baby. We love you. And like, fuck, man. Like what a life. That's it. I'm one lucky broad for that. I'm one lucky broad that I have a lot of people in my life that just love me. And like I think that some of my dreams might start to come true, maybe all of them, but like the big one really already had. I have so much love around me. Like fuck, man, I have so much love. Like and it makes me want to crawl out of my skin. And I hope one day that I can rewire my brain to believe I deserve it, because I do. Everybody does. Oh man. Well, I'm going to go cry some, panic, answer some DMs and text messages, and then refresh Amazon 58 times to see if my book is available. That's the show. Please send me poop scoop stories. I mean, I want you to buy my book. I want you to rate, review, subscribe. I want you to do all that stuff. But above all, I really want some more poop stories. So if you're like, hey, I have this wild story where I blew out my neighbor's toilet, or I poop in my tax guy's house every year. I think I'm going to change tax guys anyway, but I get so nervous doing taxes that I blow out his toilet every year, except for the last two. We've thankfully been able to do it over the phone because of COVID, but every year blow out that toilet. I wonder if he knows too. I usually come pretty heavily armed, like, but not like with a gun, but like with poopery matches and wipes and like the whole nine. So like it just looks like, as far as he knows, I might just be fixing my makeup in his bathroom, but I get so nervous in there. So if you like blow out a toilet every time you're nervous, that's not your toilet. You know what I mean? Like, please send me your poop scoop. Or if you've pooped your pants, if you've sharded, if you know someone who sharded, send them. KYMKRALSPACE @gmail.com. I'm going through all of my emails today. It's going to be a long day because Your girl fucking procrastinates that shit. And thank you so much for all the birthday wishes, all the love. Please rate and review, guys. I only have this one and then one more left, and then I'm out of reviews. So if you listen and you're like, I haven't written a review, I should do that. Please do it now, or just make another account with a fake name and write another one so you can keep me happy. I'm just kidding. This one is from Liv Train, who is one of my favorite human beings on the planet Earth. Probably all the planets. I haven't met everybody on all the planets. I don't know why I say planet Earth. I went off all the rails. It says, hilarious, brings me to tears, 5 stars. I love that so much. Kim is one of the funniest humans I know. Not only is she hilarious, she allows herself to be vulnerable and genuine with her stories. And what more could you want in a podcast? I mean, we're friends in real life, but man, how could you not feel like her real friend from listening? I'd give 10 stars if I could. Thanks, Liv. Thank you. I love you. This woman is one of my favorite women on the planet. Humans, but she's just like one of those badass women that you're just like, dude, I can't believe I got to be friends with you. So that is the show. Thank you guys so much. And my book's out in hopefully the next 24 hours, and I will post like crazy. Patreon episodes will be out today or tomorrow. I'm adding a new tier. I'm adding a new tier to it. It's just going to be like, hey, yo, if you want to support $3, right? So if you want to support, but you'll get like a little handwritten note from me. I still have to do all that for all the other Patreons. I promise. This last month has just been wild trying to get this book done, but it's done. Woo! So there'll be another tier, and it's going to be called, I got a really special birthday present. My aunt, and we're in this group chat, my family, and my aunt was like, oh my God, you are so awesome. No, you're more like Kralsome, like Kralewsome. And I was like, holy shit, how have none of us ever thought of that? How has Aunt Debbie thought of that? That's so fucking great. And I went off and no one responded, but my cousin Adrienne did. She first wrote haha and then took away her haha reaction and then put exclamation point, and I screenshot it and I sent it to her and I was like, it's like laughing at it wasn't enough. You needed to like enthusiastically do it. Oh crap. And she was like, you're damn right. It was amazing. So it's going to be called Your Team Kralsome. But yeah, check out my Patreon. There's going to be a bunch of fun stuff there. I'm going to get that done this week. I promise. I know I made that promise last week, but shit doesn't always work out the way you want it to, guys, but it will always work out the best way it can. Like even if I can be grateful for my father sexually abusing me, this is a weird way to end it, and breaking my arm and having those memories all in one day because it got me fucking here, who I am, and I love who I am. Then I think, I don't know, we can be grateful for anything. My last Crawling Up episode was with Sarah Albritton. If you like the Crawling Ups, DM me and let me know, because I'm kind of on the fence if I want to keep going. They're fun, they're fine. I don't know, just really hot in here. The world's opened back up. A lot of people are like, oh, we'd really like to just come to your closet, and there's literally no room in here. I don't know. So if you like them, please let me know. But she did say something cool that I now do. She says she writes down 3 things, because I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every night. And then she also writes down 3 things she's looking forward to. And I love that. And now I'm do that. And it actually is like, it is really exciting. I think that's it. But yeah, things don't always work out the way you want, but that's the title of the show. That's why I keep trying to say it. All right, guys, before I ramble anymore, I hope you all are doing well. Thank you again for all the love, the support, the birthday wishes. My book is going to be out soon. I cannot believe this is happening. I am so goddamn lucky. I love everybody. Not everybody. I love all of you. Fuck, I'm just going to end this. All right. Love you guys. Bye.